Hi, hello, welcome to my first video ever. So I am going to be building a castle in The Sims 4. This is my first video. This is my first time recording anything. So thank you all, three people that are going to watch this. So I'm going to start out with some terrain tools. I'm really bad at terrain tools, but I really wanted to put the castle on like a hill, because castles, they would do that. For good fortification, good whatever. So I'm starting with, a box, as you do. And then basically my method for this is there is never enough turrets. Never enough towers. Always add more. Always more. More is better. A lot of them I did end up leaving empty just because they're such a weird shape, and also the castle was so big, I had no idea what to put in them. I would also like to take this moment to apologize to anyone watching this, if anyone is out there, for my very questionable quality mic. It is just the mic on my headset. Like, I don't have anything else, but I mostly just wanted to make this because a lot of my old builds I either don't finish or then years later I come back and I'm like, what were you doing? What was the thought process? So here I can get a thought process, I can record my whatever, and also it'll give me some incentive to finish it. And I did really like doing the editing for this. I thought it was really fun. So hopefully, I mean, can only get better from here. My mic can't get worse, right? So like, maybe I'll get a new one. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe I'll keep posting. I do plan on keep posting, especially with the Life and Death pack coming out soon. I am so excited for that. When I saw it, I was like, they made this for me specifically. They know me and they wanted to make this for me. Perfect. I will definitely be ordering it. We'll be purchasing it as soon as it comes out. I normally like to wait until a pack goes on sale. I'm waiting for Love Struck to go on sale right now. I don't have that one, but this one I am so excited. The world, the ghosts. I love ghosts. Not even just in The Sims, just regularly. I am obsessed with ghosts. I think they're so cool. I think it's so fun. Do I believe in ghosts? I don't not believe in ghosts, but like I'm either way, I'm a huge fan. So I'm so excited for this pack. I'm going to buy it immediately, and then obviously I'm going to want to build with it. With the sale that just happened, the end of summer sale, I did get some packs that I didn't have. I got Wedding Stories, which I know is questionable, but there's no way I was gonna pay full price for that. So it was on sale. Awesome. I do really like the piano that comes with. I think it's so pretty, and I will use that all the time, even though the pack is broken. I make questionable decisions sometimes when it comes to The Sims, when it comes to my games, when it comes to whatever. It's fine. Just don't even worry about it, okay? And I also got Horse Ranch. I didn't have Horse Ranch and For Rent. I got a lot of packs. I hadn't played The Sims in a long time, and now I'm going through like I'm having a really fun time doing this, and I hope that it stays. I hope that it lasts. I hope that they don't rip this from me because I really do plan on making more videos. Like I want to build more stuff because I got these new packs. I love the build stuff in Horse Ranch. I think I could make a really cute, much smaller build, maybe like a limited pack build, just like base game and Horse Ranch. I think that would be really fun. I also, when the new pack comes out, I'm going to want to build with that so much. I'm already in the mood to build like a haunted house. If Again, the three people that see this have any ideas, things they want to see, I would love to make things. I will definitely reply to comments because like what else am I gonna do? I'm probably gonna get no comments. So this is exciting. Okay, back to the build for a second. You can see I am adding a lot of towers. Like I said, the more towers, the better. Look at it. I think it looks good. I was struggling a lot with how I wanted the roof to be. I cut out a lot of stuff because this video was already so long, and I'm looking and seeing that most speed builds are like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, oh no, oh no, oh no. But I really needed all this time. This is sped up 8 times, which is very fast. but a lot of people said this is like the max that they do, maybe even 10 times. I thought 10 times was just way too fast. So hopefully this is okay. If I do, I don't normally do builds this big, ever. This is my first time ever building something on a 64 by 64 lot. This is the 64 by 64 in Windenburg because I figured Windenburg is the best place to build this castle. And also it's probably one of the best, not if not the best world in The Sims 4. But I don't normally build things this big. But I guess go big or go home. First video, I wanted to do something like fun, and I just got the Castle Estate kit, and I love these windows. These windows took me so long to figure out. I sped, obviously this is sped up. I had like an hour of footage of me just putting windows on this thing. I edited a lot of stuff out. I hope you don't mind. But here I'm putting columns in, just putting columns all around because I think they're nice to break things up. I will be painting it in a second. Also, I kept having this issue. I think it was because the terrain tools and also how tall, like 4 stories total. So the camera kept trying to flip me up. Like, I tried to edit out a lot of the things because it is very disorienting, especially when it's this fast. If you see it, I'm sorry, but if anyone knows what that is, if you could let me know. I think it's because the camera wants to go higher because the terrain is high. I don't know, but it bothered me the entire time. So, if you're looking at this now and you think, wow, that foundation is so ugly, what is she thinking with that? Yeah, me too. But I had the thought of, oh, well, it's a foundation. What if it was, dirty? It's close to the ground. I do change it, not even to what I end up using. I struggled a lot with what color I wanted the castle to be. The mossy stone from the Castle Estate kit, I love it, but I've used it on a lot of builds recently. Not that you've seen those, but I was like, I want to do something a little different, so I'll do this. And then I went inside because adding the freezes on the outside, I knew I wanted to have a big, open, tall foyer with like a grand staircase. Very castle like to me. I've never been to a castle, you can probably tell. But placing freezes in building trim when you have something on the inside like that can be such a pain that I wanted to do that first before I tried to do any of the trim or the freezes outside on the walls. Because sometimes it'll just go inside for some reason. So I had to make sure that was fine. I will be going back outside in just a second to finish the windows and stuff. I just needed to do this first to make sure I wouldn't come back inside and things would be messed up. See, even look right now with the roof pieces that are suddenly it decided to come through the walls. So now I had to fix that. So annoying, but it wasn't a very hard fix. But still, annoying. Why does it do that? It thinks that it's inside, but for some reason now it has roof coming through the walls. Make it make sense. Because it's not like it thinks it's outside, because it's still very clear. I don't understand Sims 4, why? But I got it, and then I was like, okay, should I start the floor plan? And I was like, you don't need to see that, so I cut that out. Here I add like the freeze pieces from the Castle Estate kit all around. Only the top part of each tower, because I thought it added a little something, but I wanted the towers to seem really tall, so I didn't want to cut them off by placing them on every level. So I just did the top for each one, and then I also put in some little trim pieces all around, not the freezes, just the trim, just for more interest, more texture on some of the flatter surfaces. I was also just getting ready for windows here. And if you didn't know, which because I didn't know until very recently, you can actually put trim on only one wall or a freeze at a time by holding shift. Literally life changing. I don't know how I didn't know this before. I put those stairs in a really bad place, but like don't even worry about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm a little worried about it, but I'm pretending I'm not worried about it. Don't worry about it. And then I changed this from medium to tall wall height because I wanted to use that giant castle door. Um, Even though tall wall height is scary and I hate decorating with it, I'm a big medium wall height fan. I'm a medium wall height enjoyer. It's my favorite. And I wanted these big stairs to go all the way down, but then also the terrain. I don't know what I was thinking when I got myself into this. I am very happy with how it turned out, but it was so scary. when I was building it. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I ended up with about 9 hours of footage. I obviously cut a lot of that down and it's sped up, but I didn't include bathrooms, hallways. I cut various things out that I thought maybe were interesting. I don't really know what people think is interesting because I love watching people furnish bathrooms and stuff, and especially if they do something cool. I did include like the queen's bathroom because it was special. You'll see that later. Adding windows to these towers, oh my god, making sure they were all even on both sides. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. And then also that wide tower, I just couldn't. It just looked ugly. It just looked ugly to me. I didn't know how to fix it. I eventually figured it out. I think it could still be better, but things can always be better. You just gotta learn to let things lie eventually, right? So I hear. Anyway, here I'm doing the same thing that I did with the freezes. I'm doing that with the trim now, where I'm putting it just on the second tallest thing. So like the tallest one has the freeze and then this one has the trim. Again, because I wanted to keep the towers looking tall, but I just wanted some more texture on them. So adding the trim on there, I think helps that a lot. And then back to placing windows. The windows never end. I think after I did the windows, I took a break. I hate putting in windows. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. But I wanted there to be a lot of windows. I wanted there to be a lot of light in here just because it's a castle. The rest of it's going to be pretty dark. I did mostly use candles inside. I think a couple are technically not off the grid things, but I used them anyway because this doesn't have the off the grid lot tray or anything. I didn't do that. I just wanted to do mostly candles. I wanted like the yellow lighting, you know what I mean? Here, again, with the really flat surface, I just wanted to put more texture. So I have the trim, I have the freeze just to break it up. And I know the stairs blocking the window is silly, but I wanted to put the stairs there. I don't know what to tell you. I just did that anyway. Here with the windows in the back, I wanted the windows where the throne room was to be very grand. And I think I achieved it. I think it looks okay. I made some questionable decisions on the inside, but we'll get to that soon. And here's what I mean, this tower, I could not. I always ended up going back to this tower because I just didn't trust it. I didn't like it. I think this is what I ended up settling on, and I think it looks fine. It's fine. At this point, I was getting really sick of Windows. I don't know if you can tell, but I just wanted to be done so bad. There's just so many. Again, I haven't done, this is the largest build I have ever done. Normally, I actually do quite small houses. Mainly, I'm a big fan of the occult sim. I play with a lot of vampires, I play with a lot of spellcasters, and I like to make themed houses for them. There is a lot of vampires in this build. Actually, there's a lot of vampire stuff because I just think it fits the castle aesthetic really nicely. I added these little balconies too because you may as well have one, but one of them actually leads to a bathroom, which I think is funny. But I would like to have a bathroom balcony, maybe. I don't know. Have any balcony at all. I'll take whatever I can get. I don't have any. I'll take it. I'll take the bathroom balcony. It's a castle. It doesn't have to make sense. What rich people do with their money is none of my business. I'll never be there. I'll never understand. Eat the rich, you know what I mean? That's. I did end up putting some funny things in this build, specifically with that in mind. Like, I did make a servant's quarters, and they are kind of pathetic. It's actually not in the speed build, because at this point it was so long, it was one of the last things I did, that I just couldn't justify it. They're very bare, basically, but in my head, I had the image of this queen that thinks she's very benevolent, but actually she just gives them the bare essentials and then pats herself on the back, you know? I thought it was funny. I also gave the queen a different storyline too in my head, that I kind of based a lot of the things in the castle off of, mostly just because I found this statue that you'll see later. But now I'm going inside finally and trying to get this chandelier on. I cut a good part of it out because it wanted to just float in the air on the first floor. So I ended up having to just raise it up with the 9 key and then making it level with the ceiling on the second floor. These knights are everywhere. They're very expensive. And I was like, expensive stuff. There's also a lot of red in here because it started out because historically we're like royalty. You think red, purple. And then eventually after that, I just kind of really stuck with the red theme. I wanted to really go in with it for no particular reason, but I thought it would be cool. I did cut out a lot of the decorating of various big sort of empty spaces. I did keep in the foyer just because I figured, it's the grand entrance, you want to see that, but a lot of hallways.
I furnished. I didn't record because it, again, how many times have I said this? This video is so long. If you've even gotten this far, you're crazy. You're crazy and I love you and I'll kiss you on the mouth. But I did most of the floor plan off camera. I did keep in this little like secret you see like with the ladder. I am going to do something kind of fun with that later. I did have big plans that kind of were foiled at one point, but we'll get to that. I really need more expensive paintings in this game. I just need more paintings in general. I don't really like to use custom content. There is no custom content in this build. Besides, I use eyes for my Sims because the way the eyes look are just, I don't like them. So I use different CC eyes for my Sims, but that is it. I don't like to use custom furniture or whatever because I like to be able to put things on the gallery. And I will have my gallery ID in the description if any of you want this build for any reason. And it does have quite a few packs, but if you click on it, like some of the packs, I think I only used the book stack from high school years. That is the only thing in the build that I used from high school years. So vampires, you definitely would want. Realm of Magic, you definitely want for this build. Obviously the Castle Estate kit, but it's not as many packs as it looks like. It does use a lot of packs. I am guilty of using a lot of packs, I'm sorry, but I really want it. I didn't want to limit myself with the thing. The curtains were such a big thing for this build too, is we need more paintings and we need more curtains desperately. Doing the kitchen, honestly, this didn't take me that long. I like doing kitchens a lot. Thing I did realize while doing this kitchen is just how few swatches are on the vampires' countertops and cabinets. Why are there only 3? What am I going to do with only 3 swatches? Now, you can see me struggling to find these curtains. I had to size up some base game ones, and then for some reason when I put them higher up on the wall, the shadows got really weird, so I had to put them a little lower than I would have liked, so that's why I did that. Surprisingly, I used a good amount of Jungle Adventure in here. The table is Jungle Adventure. I wanted a big table, but I didn't want to do any rectangles because as you're going to see, I did those in the dining room. Do you see me wanting to use the cupcake machine? Yeah, I did think about it. I did think about using the cupcake machine a little. I didn't end up doing it, but in my heart, I definitely wanted to. It looks old-timey enough. Cluttering the place up was kind of annoying because I was like, what can I put in that is, ye old clutter? I don't know. So compared to more modern builds where I can just put anything, I put some like bath salts on a shelf over here. Pretend that it's like exotic spices or something. Just pretend with me. We can make believe. It'll be okay. I promise. I also struggled a lot with rugs in this. I like wanted to keep the color scheme, but I didn't want to be too matchy. And obviously, like it's a castle. I wanted it to be very expensive looking and opulent, but it just wasn't doing what I wanted for a lot of things. And I do wonder if the new pack would have a lot of things that I would have liked to have for this build. I'm not quite sure. From the furniture we've seen, I don't know that we saw any. We definitely did see some cool stuff that I am excited about, like the broken windows, that roof piece that makes it look like it's collapsing. Oh, I'll get back to that in a minute. But me right now searching, I am searching for the hanging pots and pans. I could not find it. I searched hanging, I searched pots, I searched pans. Instead, I found those flags that I put outside. And then eventually it was just in ceiling decorations. And I was so mad at myself that I couldn't figure that out, that they were just in ceiling decorations. But I found them. No worries. But anyway, back to the pack thing. I am really, 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 really excited. I already said that earlier, but I do wonder more about the furniture. In just the reveal trailer, we did see some furniture, but not really a lot. And I'm not really quite sure what style, because a lot of packs, I don't know. I mean, I don't have Love Struck, so I don't really know if any of that would have come in handy here or not, but I'm thinking of what we had from a couple of the more new packs, or new to me at least, I guess, because I just got Growing Together, I just got For Rent. Not a lot of stuff that you'd really use in here. Not nothing, but not quite too much. It does have a good amount of base game furniture. Look at me moving on to the dining room and look at me having This might happen a few times in the build, is me switching to the Sims 3 camera so that I can free rotate items. I do use the Sims 4 camera. I don't know if that's criminal or not. I know almost every other video I've seen people use the Sims 3 camera, but I'm just used to the Sims 4 one. I did play a little bit of The Sims 3, but I was always just more into The Sims 4. I was alive for The Sims 3, but I wasn't that sentient. You know, Sims 4 came out in 2014. I was 12, so I had this bootleg copy that I just got from online for free, and it came with Get to Work and Outdoor Retreat. Outdoor Retreat and Get to Work. I had those packs because they were in this free download I got off a sketchy website on the internet. This is a legit copy now. EA, don't kill me. I bought all those packs with my own money somehow. Somehow you keep getting my money, and I just let you take it, and I'll do it again. I'm about to do it again later this month. I tried to include a fireplace in almost every room in this build because I figure it's a really big castle. I mean, to keep it warm, you'd want a fireplace in every room, basically. There's not one in the kitchen because it has the oven. I figured that'd be good enough. And then this big, giant, empty wall in the dining room was driving me nuts. I had to put something there, but I was like, I don't know what to. These cabinets look too modern. I can't do that. So I ended up just using this big crest, and then I framed it with the vampire's curtains. I did have to delete the wall so that the crest would stick out of the curtains. Otherwise, it's like stuck in the curtains. But I think it looks all right. I do really like those vampire's curtains. I wish I could use them in more normal builds, but they're a bit much for an everyday build. I mean, I would put them in my house, but I know that's questionable, I suppose. But I figured like, the way I was thinking of this room, this dining room, dining hall, whatever, is I was imagining it also doubling as sort of a ballroom. Like if you get rid of the table, you can have a ballroom type of deal. That's why I put the instruments over there, the big piano. Originally, I put a guitar there too, but I was like, it doesn't feel right. You don't have like a lute in The Sims, so or like a lyre or something. So I didn't put the guitar because I didn't like it. But I did put a bar over there because your Sims love the bar. The globe bar is also in here from I think it's from Vintage Glamour. That thing, Sims will not stay away from the globe bar. They love that thing, which I think is really funny because I don't really get Sims that gravitate towards just making drinks at a regular bar, but oh my god, they love the globe bar. So I mean, good for them, I guess. I do like how this room turned out. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely not my least favorite. It's pretty much done now. I just adding lights, getting rid of. When I was building, I added in the subtle saucer lights just so I could see what I was doing, and then I would get rid of them. I did like double check to make sure they were all gone by the end because, you know, ye old saucer light, that's not a thing. So I'm just got rid of them, and then I have to make sure you can see in the room with candles instead. And then I also put these candles right next to the. All these candles right next to the curtains is kind of questionable, but it's The Sims. Nothing is going to happen. And then we're going to move on to my favorite room in the entire build. This is the throne room. So originally I searched throne just because I was wondering if maybe there was a couch or a chair named something like that. In there I found that thing from Get Famous. I didn't use it, but I was kind of inspired by it. So I did want to do these tiered steps all the way up, and I think it actually looks pretty cool. I did it with platforms. I know it does cut off the window. I'm not even pressed about it, honestly. I think I barely even notice once I have all the furniture in there. And then I used the chairs also from Get Famous because I was like, that looks like a throne. That looks really good. In my mind, the queen is like the main lady. I don't know if she has a king, but I did create the storyline for her that she had a daughter, the princess, who died and she never ever got over it. And so she has all these statues of this little girl all around. And I put the one here, I put it right behind the other chair where I would imagine she would sit, you know, at the queen's left side. And once I did this, I was getting like so excited. I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And I did carry this throughout the entire build. I did add more of the little girl statues. I also added more of the little fairy girl statues from vampires because I figured after she lost her daughter, it was kind of, some people turn to a lot of spiritual things. I feel like fairies are a very interesting thing. I love any sort of folklore involving fairies, like real life folklore involving fairies. I am part of the group that would love a fairy pack, but I also know that what would they do with the gameplay for fairies? I'm not quite sure. But I did add more of those statues out in the front, in the entrance. And originally, that giant painting of the woman holding the flowers, I thought she was holding a baby. So I put that in a couple places, and then later on, I realized she's holding flowers. I thought she was holding a baby, and I thought it was perfect, but instead, she's not. So we can just say that she is. That's her and her husband, I guess. That's the king. But the king's not important here. We don't care about the king. We just care about the queen because I gave her a storyline and she's more important to me in my heart. I love the columns I put in here. I think it looks really cool. Like, I think it's really fun. The throne room was definitely my favorite. I can just imagine someone coming up and like having to kneel before the queen. I think it's so fun. And having that eerie statue behind her and like people having to be careful not to offend her by like they pretend the daughter is still there. Like, I think that's so fun, so cool. And then lastly, again, I'm just adding some lights in there, getting rid of the stupid saucer lights that I had. Said earlier the whole build was pretty yellow. Yes, the whole build is pretty yellow with the lighting, but it's just authentic. They didn't have it back then. What year is it supposed to be? Don't ask me that. I don't know. Don't worry about it. I kept with the red theme in here for this kind of sitting room area. I do wonder if I went a little overboard, but I think I like it. I think I just like the idea that the queen just really likes red. She's just a big fan. She loves showing off, or at least she used to. Maybe she cares less now that her daughter died. Maybe now she's a very sad woman. This room, I wanted to put a couple skill building items in here because I feel like we didn't have a lot in the house. So I did end up putting an organ because when do you get to use the organ? Never. So I put that in there and then a chess table because you gotta put a chess table because the way logic skill in The Sims works is crazy. It's needed for so much stuff. It's actually so useful. I don't know that anyone's actually going to play in this house, but if anyone did, I just wanted to put that. And then when I move into the office, I did these rooms pretty quick. I kept my little secret door. It does look a little silly just because it's really short and this is tall wall height, but I just put a bookcase next to it and hope for the best. But that's the secret door to the secret place underground. Well, I'll get to show you that later. There is no computer in this house because it's a castle, man. They didn't have computers. But if you did want to play in this, I would recommend getting a computer just because you really want a computer when you're playing The Sims. The rugs here took me so long to figure out. I cut out me trying so many rugs, and I still look at how many I had to go through. And then I just cluttered it up. I loved getting to use the little quill. I was like, yeah, they would use a quill. This is so fun. I was having a lot of fun with this, and that's what gets me excited to want to record more of these is that I'm just having fun right now talking to probably no one, probably just myself, but now I'm just putting the finishing touches on the office, just random clutter, fixing the lights, just the normal end room stuff. I honestly could not wait to go upstairs and do the nursery. It's probably another one of my favorite things in the build. I wanted to use the entirety of the storybook nursery kit. I used basically everything except for the light I didn't use and the lamp I didn't use because obviously those aren't candles, so they can't go in the castle. But I loved this nursery. I wanted to make it the black and red theme, just like the rest of the house. But the black, I wonder if it was maybe redecorated after the kid died. Because in my head, it wasn't like a baby that died. I wonder if she redecorated it after the kid died as a baby's room and she was just in her grief. And then I also covered it in cobwebs afterwards. Because I wanted it to be like she can't bear to go in there, but she doesn't let people go, like the servants go in there to clean. I love this room. It's also the only room in the house that I end up putting wallpaper in. Everything else, I just kept the stone walls and the stone floor because it's a castle. I don't know that they would do wallpaper. And also, a lot of stuff has baseboards and in white, and they have other ones, and they also have the cool wood paneling. But I wanted to keep the stone walls. I wanted to keep it true castle energy to me. But I did use basically the entirety of the Storybook Nursery kit. I do love this kit. I did not get the Artist Studio one, but I kind of wish I did. I probably will in the future. I'll probably make more questionable decisions. But I ended up going with this Crystal Creation stuff pack, the wallpaper. I love this wallpaper. I use it all the time. And this is the only room in the house that'll have it. I did forget to put a fireplace in this room. I ended up coming back off camera and switching things around and putting a fireplace in there because otherwise, I don't want the baby to have died from it's too cold in their giant castle. That's not what I wanted. So I did the same thing with the Queen's room. I also forgot and I had to go put it in. But it's not very interesting, I promise. I just moved some things around. Most of the stuff is still there. So it looks pretty much the same. I just put a fireplace underneath where I hung those pictures instead. And then I add all my little spider webs, make it look all abandoned. I do think that she does come in here. I think she does come in here and sit, but I don't think she likes to touch anything. And then I move on to the queen slash king's room. I guess I did not think about the king at all during this thing. It's the queen and her baby. The king, maybe he doesn't even exist. Maybe he's dead too. I don't know. But the queen doesn't care about him. Neither do I. For her room, I just went very pretty much plain. I didn't want it to seem like obviously she has servants that clean up after her, so I didn't want to do a depression style messy room, especially like it's the queen. She'll have people take care of that for her. But I didn't put a lot of personality in it either. I feel like she's just very I did put an easel in here. I did think maybe she's the one who makes the statues of her daughter. Maybe she paints her daughter. Maybe I don't know. I did I did also put the sad clown painting in the kids' room. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I thought it was funny at the moment. So and that is still in there. That is in there right now at this very moment on the gallery. You're welcome. Finishing up the queen's room, I did put more of the statues of the little girl in there. There's one in here pointing to the painting. I like to think the painting is maybe of the queen, you know, and she pictures like her daughter pointing at her, and I put one in the kids' room too. Do you think if there is a king, he's weirded out by the statues, or do you think he probably just goes with it, you know, happy wife, happy life, probably? I did put journals pretty much everywhere in here. I also, when I moved on to the sitting room, I wanted it to kind of feel like she was like studying, like she's trying to bring her back from the dead, but she doesn't know how. I didn't go too deep into that, but I was thinking about it. So all those journals I'm picturing like full of ancient text, you know, trying to figure out the secret to eternal life, bringing someone back from the dead, necromancy, whatever. And then when I moved on to her bathroom, this is the only one that I included in the build because it's the only important one. It's pretty big. I have a separate bath like pedestal, and I have the separate room for the shower, and I also use the Get Famous golden toilet because I don't think I've ever gotten to use that. So this is the perfect time, you know? If I can't use it here, where can I use it? And then when I did this kind of sitting room on the outside, I wanted this to be like the queen's kind of private sitting room, or maybe this more intimate sitting room. Maybe she only invites close friends up here. And I put more of the tomes around. She's poring over these for knowledge. She wants her daughter back so bad. I also put these little baby pictures and the cat statue a couple places because I was like, what if her daughter loved cats? You know, what then? You know, it's possible. I'm somebody's daughter and I love cats. So I also put another easel over in the other room. I didn't include decorating that hallway in the video because it's just a hallway, who cares? But I did start to get into the painting thing. And then I went downstairs. I was finally ready to tackle this room. This room, I was not sure what I wanted it to be until finally I was like, oh my god, I'll make it into a seance room. So she tries to like contact her dead daughter. So I put 2 seance tables in here. And with the way that I actually just went, this is so funny. I just went to visit the foundation, because the house burned down, of where the Fox sisters used to live. If you know anything about them or like modern spiritualism in America, so interesting. The original story of the house, I just went there. So imagining she invites people over for seances the way that people used to do when it was like an event, like I think that would be really cool. And she's desperate to hear anything from her daughter. And then that room was really simple. As soon as I went back upstairs, I was like, oh, I have to do these bedrooms. I really don't want to do these bedrooms. But I gave each one a color theme and then I just went for it. They're all pretty generic just because they're guest rooms. So, people would fill them with their stuff when they're visiting, whatever. I don't really know who would be visiting a castle. You got cousins? I don't really know. I'm not a historian. And also, this castle is not historically accurate, and it wasn't meant to be. Don't come for me. I did their bathrooms off camera too. They're mostly just colored and themed after the other ones. The middle one is meant to be the biggest, fanciest one. You give that to the people you like the most, but also I was picturing, what if you give that to the one you hate the most? Because it's supposed to be the biggest, but it also doesn't have a bathroom. So maybe that's the I hate you one. I also put a couple plants in there because I was like, look, I can afford to keep all these plants alive and keep them green. Aren't we so? I was picturing them being very exotic plants, trying to show off with these guest rooms. But they're all pretty much the same, just regular bedrooms. The middle one has a little sitting room area, and it's all pink. I am glad to have been able to use different colors because I was getting sick of the red. I do really like red, but I don't think I wanted to do it that much. And then at this point, I was getting so close to finishing the inside. I was like, please, please let me finish. I don't want to do it anymore. But thinking of making the video, it kept me going. I would have been long done with this build any other time just because it's so big. I don't make things this big. So I was about 7 hours in right now, and I wanted to be done, and I still had to do the hallway, and I still had to do the outside and the landscaping. But I pulled through. I did it. I'm here. If you're still watching this far, you're crazy. Thank you. um, if you're not, that's cool too. This is mostly just for me to look at later, and maybe my mom will want to watch it. Maybe I'll make my mom watch it. Who knows? I think actually the yellowy gold one is my favorite because I put a desk in there. I didn't give the other ones a desk. I gave a different one a vanity. I gave the blue one a vanity, but this one's got a desk and a bookcase. I think that one's actually secretly, that's the sleeper best bedroom. That's what you actually give to your favorite when they visit, and then you give your least favorite the pink one because they don't get a bathroom, but it's big, so they can't be mad at you. You know what I mean? If I stayed here, I definitely want the yellow one or the blue one because I want my own bathroom. For the bathrooms, I just use the vampires set because I think they work off the grid. Not that, again, this lot isn't off the grid, but I wanted to keep within the theme, so I mostly use things that were off the grid. And also the vampires, I love the vampires everything. I love that pack. I just think it's so good. I know a lot of people, some people aren't a fan of occults in general, and also like the vampires world. Don't even get me started on those lots. Some of them are so ugly. Why does Vlad's house look like that? Why does it look like that? Anyway, we're going to head into the dungeon. So this was where the secret ladder leads. And I use these get to work like cells basically. And then a lot of the horse ranch nectar making stuff. And then I also put the skeleton in the wall. This is from all my Cask of Amontillado fans out there. All my Edgar Allan Poe fans out there. We bricked them up behind the wall. But I spent so long also looking for. I could have sworn in debug there is a little pile of like bones, and I wanted to put one in one of the cells so bad, but I could not for the life of me find it. I searched, I could not find it. I cut it out because it was comical how long it took me to find it, even sped up, and I didn't even find it. But this video is too long for that, so I apologize. But we finally finished. The dungeon is all done, And now we can finally move onto the outside. So I use these debug trees from, I think, the Realm of Magic debug. The only mod that I use is the Better Build By mod, which basically organizes the debug menu. So the debug is all the stuff from the background that you can look through, that you can add onto your lot, and it sorts it and it makes it so useful. And it also starts with move objects on, which I always have on, and I use that mod as the only one that I use, but it just makes it easier. You can access all of the debug stuff without the mod. It just organizes it for you. I can link it in the description if anyone's gonna look at that, but I will put it there because it would feel wrong not to. And then I wanted to do Ivy, but I usually go nuts with the ivy, so I just wanted some simple ivy, even though it was a castle and I could have gone nuts. I also, since I did this last, I was worried about clipping. I didn't want things to clip inside the plants. I should have done this first, and then I could have added more ivy. But, I didn't, so it's fine. I'm not worried about it. I still really like how it came out, but trying to get these plants on this terrain, this is why I don't use terrain tools, is a lot of these plants were just floating. They would just float on the terrain. I was like, this is not, please don't do that. And with the outside, I figure a castle is going to have gardeners, it's going to have landscaping, it's going to have whatever. I wanted to use a lot of red flowers outside as well. The queen apparently just loves red. And I'm also obsessed with the romantic garden stuff, flowers, especially those really tall ones. And the crazy thing is I sized them up. Normally when I use those in a build, I have to size them down, but this castle is so huge, I had to size them up. Otherwise, it looked just silly. It looked so silly crazy. Normally, these things are huge. I was sizing up a lot of plants here, but I kept with the red theme. The Romantic Garden stuff pack has a lot of my favorite plants. It's one of my favorite stuff packs. I think Paranormal is probably my favorite stuff pack. I always use it. I love doing gardens. I love doing landscaping. This one, I'm gonna be honest, is not my best work, just because after the whole ordeal with the castle, I was ready to be done with it. But I still took my time. I still tried. Also, if you notice, the trees behind the castle are floating on the hill. Don't look at that. Behind the hill, like terrain tools are such a pain. You can't see them anyway. It's behind the castle. It's fine. Unless you're looking, you're not gonna notice it. With this landscaping, I just wanted a lot of green and I wanted a lot of red flowers. But I also always use the low-lying pale yellow flowers. They're so good to just mark the outline of where you want like your planter bed to be. So I would just mark those first and then put in the rest of the plants. And it went pretty smoothly. We are getting close to the end now, just doing the back end of the castle, adding extra low-lying red flowers. And then I really wanted to add water because I can't resist adding a little pond or something. So I did put one in the front. It did lag a little just when I was digging. I didn't have any other issues throughout the whole thing. Originally, when I went to record this, I actually couldn't because my graphics card broke while I was trying to record it the first time. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I've been thinking about doing this for a very, very long time. Originally, about 4 years ago, I was really into it. I really wanted to do it, and I just never ended up doing it. And I mean, my computer probably wasn't good enough to do it at the time anyway, but I got a new graphics card, and as soon as it got here, I got started on this speed build, and I'm finally doing it. I'm finally doing it. It's 4 years later, but I am excited. And I put in the water a bunch of the little animals. I put like fireflies, cause and dragonflies and swans. And then when you go into live mode, they will be there. It won't be the weird squares. But looking at it, I was like, this looks too neat. I need to like these corners. I mean, yes, it's landscaped, but like I want it to be more, I don't know, not so close to the water, so I added few little spaces. It still looks very landscaped, like, but I think it looks better than it did. And I always do terrain paint last because sometimes it'll get rid of your terrain paint because the game hates you actually. So And I'm always very, very careful with my terrain paint, where I do it very slowly. And I always use a very soft brush because I feel like it's so easy to go way too hard and then it does not look natural at all. And I want it to look natural. I want it to look good. Especially the dirt. Once I get going on the dirt, I want it to look good. I think it really adds just like a little something, little realistic something to the build to have the terrain paint under all the trees and the sides of the castle and everything. I think it looks good. Terrain paint is my best friend until it decides to disappear on you because it does do that sometimes, but I forgive her. These are just the final touches before I'm completely done with it. If you have watched this entire video, I thank you. Thank you. I will probably be posting another thing. If you have any sort of suggestions, anything like else that I could build, I would love to hear them. I would also definitely read your comment because, like I said earlier, probably won't be getting many of them. So now we're just going into. I just took like a random family there. Ignore them. But I just needed to see it in live mode so you can see all the animals. And then look at this beautiful, beautiful castle. I'm so proud of it. And then we go inside. Here's the entrance. I Pretty grand. I like how it turned out. We got the kitchen. And then, oh, down here we have the servants' quarters. I didn't show me building them, but they are so bare bones. Like they're so basic. Like I said earlier, the queen, she thinks she's all that. She thinks she provides, but they're very basic. And then we have the dining room and the throne room, my beloved throne room. This is definitely my favorite room in the whole castle. And then we have the living room, which the living room's fine. It's whatever. The office is also fine. Like I like them just fine, but compared to the throne room, I do really like the seance room. I do like that I decided to do that. I think that's a really fun room to have in general. Then we go upstairs. Here's what it looks like from the second floor looking down. And then I have some fireplaces to keep the place warm. I put a games table over here. And there's a bathroom, extra one, maybe for the pink one that doesn't get a bathroom. But here's just the extra bedrooms, showing them off. And then if we go upstairs again, we have the sitting room, the nursery, the queen's quarters, and her fancy, fancy bathroom. We also have her little art area. I put hay on the ground there. Um, I didn't know what people would paint on because I will, you know, catch the paint. I don't know. And then we go down, we can go all the way down into the dungeon. I do really like the dungeon too. Um, and I like the little guy I put in the wall. I think he's fun. And then now I just have screenshots. So thank you so much if you watched this video. I will post another one probably. And then I also have pictures of the floor plan from like above. But let me know what you think. Thank you so much, and goodbye.